Okay, guys, I know it's been a couple of days since my last reaction video. I apologize for that. Sometimes life gets away from me and it's hard to catch up. But today we're going to be reacting to when the comments were turned off and why the comments were turned off. So, the first video we're going to do is a 6-minute video where he was announcing that he's turning them off. The second video will be where he's explaining in more in depth why with Megan present. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started here and then move into the second one.
All right, y'all. I'm at the Resurrection Ranch, but this is actually an I.A.G farm snippet, little short video. My mom was back there. Say what's up, mama. Hello. All right.
Underway.
But I wanted to let y'all know because I'm about to disable our comments on videos, and it's so crazy, because there's some crazy people out there, some psychopaths type people. And but most of you all who leave comments, the comments are good. But I just got a phone call from Megan, and some psychopath, some crazy person, called Child Protective Services and told them that we were leaving Benjamin alone at home, meaning we were leaving the property and like going places and stuff like that, and leaving our baby at home by itself. And which you all know that's not true. It's like that's
We do know it's not true, and I don't think that that was the report. I think the report was that he was being left in the house by himself, and somebody is playing on words because we're watching their videos. We're knowing that there's a new baby in the house. The anticipation has been building since we found out that she was pregnant again. So, of course, for each video, you're wondering, well, where's the baby? Because he's a new addition to what you've been supporting, right? So, you're watching the video, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, where is Benjamin? But at the same time, you just still, continue with the video. Never not forgetting that you're still wondering where the baby is, but they're not talking about him. We're just, move past that. But after several times of doing that, it leaves a person to reason with themselves. He's inside. And maybe they're not aware of the shots that they were taking to allow us to realize that he was not out there with them. And there's no argument to be made that he was out of the shot for some of the angles that they got. So whoever reported them is a singular person, but there was a group of people with parental intuition wondering, where is Benjamin? And at no time were we thinking, because, there may have been a video of him going to pick up lumber, but we know, or whatever, pick up whatever. We know that Megan is at home with the baby. And if Megan went outside of the gate, she always has all 4 of her children. She's never alone without them. So why would somebody say you're leaving him at home by himself? What was said is that you're leaving him in the house by himself, because we see videos of you outside of this compound doing things, being filmed, getting reactions from your wife, and the baby is nowhere in sight. He's not crying, and we know he's a mama's baby. So if he's awake and he sees her, she has to have him. They've already set that up where we know that Benjamin cries if his mom is not holding him. He cries if a stranger picks him up. We know this about Benjamin. So he was not crying in the background, come and get me. So where's Benjamin? That was the report. I'm almost certain that that was the report, that you're leaving him in the house unattended, not leaving him at home when you leave. But a person who knows that they're guilty will play on words to make themselves be innocent. Yes, you're innocent of what you just said, but are you innocent of what was actually reported? And that is the real question.
That's crazy. That's idiotic.
I need to
That doesn't
turn
make
this
any
up.
sense. But somebody that doesn't have anything else better to do but to sit on their couch, eat potato chips, and try to like cause somebody else harm, has messed it up for everybody. So now I'm gonna just go ahead and disable the comments, and that way this psychopath or group of psychopaths won't be able to, leave comments and ask crazy questions and get all stirred up if we don't respond to their comment. Because I think that's what it is. I think that every person that leaves a crazy comment expects for us to like respond to those comments, and when we don't respond to those comments, I think that they get flustered.
So he thinks the problem is that whoever, and clearly he just made it seem as though it was multiple people and not just one. Whoever was not being um, given attention in the comments when they were asking where's Benjamin, and every conversation that went with that, if they didn't directly address it, they feel like that is why people are butthurt. How misguided do you have to be to think that a person's ego is getting in the way of them asking that question in the first place? And that because you didn't address them in the comments, that is why it progressed further, as opposed to you didn't address the situation and that's why it progressed further. You did not start letting people know, like, supposedly they care about their subscribers so much. Okay, you all are worried about our son, so we just want to put your mind at ease and let you know he's right here. None of that. It's like either there's an ego going on, which we know there is, but also, no, you all were being irresponsible. And it had nothing to do with somebody feeling a certain type of way about not getting their comment responded to. If you didn't take any action, no action was taken at home. So you have someone that is legitimately 100% concerned, and you ignored it. You ignored it. You ignored action, not you ignored a comment.
And do crazy stuff. But we take very, very, very well care of our kids. And when the child protective people came by and looked at everything, they were like, "There's nothing here to see." They looked at the homeschool room and they looked at the boys' bathroom, and the boys were running around showing them the animals and telling them about the farm and praying for them. And it's like we're not the type of family that somebody usually calls child protective services about. We're like
Not true. Not true at all. I've had CPS workers as clients. I've personally known people to be involved with CPS cases. Um, all types of people end up, all types, all walks of life, all incomes, because yet again, parenting is not something that we just automatically know. And for some people, if you don't have wisdom passed down to you and you actually take heed to the wisdom that you're given, you could end up in that situation. But in his mind, he's built this type of family that surely because of everything that he just listed, that you shouldn't be out here. Yet again, everything he listed had nothing to do with the original complaint. Nothing about homeschooling. Nothing about homeschooling was reported, but you're dancing around what actually happened.
we're well established, full family, husband, wife, kids. You know what I'm saying? It's not that type of rodeo around here. But some crazy person out there, whoever you are, you're to blame for the comments being disabled. And I know that you all enjoy leaving comments on our videos and everything, and we enjoy reading those comments. But we do have email, and you all can email us. But hey, if the crazy people start getting an email, we'll take our email address off as well, for real. But
How bad does your ego have to be that somebody emails you and then you turn that off? So, are you running from people holding you accountable? Because no one else can see that. The comments everybody can see, which And the next one he will blame that being the reason, like people ganging up. But only they can see the emails. So, and really, I believe it's just him that's, getting the emails and handling all of that because it's his channel. But nonetheless, even if Megan is helping with that, that's something that only they can see. So your ego is to the point that if a person reaches out to you privately, you're going to have an issue with it and just turn that off too. But I have people in my comments trying to hold me accountable, and I'll respond to whoever. You can stay down there saying whatever you have to say till you blue in the face. I'll respond to you and keep it pushing. There may be something that I can learn from, and if it's not, you're free to your opinion, the same as I'm free to mine. You can voice that opinion, and I'm going to keep it pushing. But to let it get to the point where, okay, I'm gonna save
We
something
have
in the next
millions and
video.
millions of people from all over the world that watch our channel, I.A.G Farms. Like I said, I'm at the ranch now. I'm gonna disable the comments for the ranch as well on Grandma's homestead, so that the crazy people won't just come over here and start leaving comments on Grandma's, on our YouTube channel that we document Grandma's journey. But anyway, just want to let y'all know.
So is it leaving the comments or is it calling CPS? Which one is the issue? Because he started out saying one thing and he's ended up making it be another reason. And for anybody who has unsubscribed to them, anybody who's calling them out, we see the reason why. But he has stated two separate reasons of why the comments are being taken down. CPS was called crazy person, but now it's because you're leaving a comment.
I'm gonna go through tonight, so if you want to leave some negative comments, you better leave them now, because you can't leave them like not negative, because I'm not talking about the negative comments. It's the psychotic. Like, this person is a psycho, a crazy person that
And it's not true. It's any type of comment he doesn't agree with, because me and another subscriber were discussing in the comments that we had left comments prior to him doing this that we know he didn't agree with, and our comments were deleted. And that wasn't a one-time thing. It was multiple times that he wouldn't be in agreement with what you said, and the comment, no, it just wasn't up there anymore. It disappeared.
sent Child Protective Services out to our house, and it's like as if it was gonna hurt us or something like that. Like I said, they came out there, and it was an amazing opportunity, to minister to them and show them around the farm, and just that's what our farm is there for, to bring in people, to cultivate and develop people, so we can, like, whoever that negative person was that tried to bring harm to our family, they actually did a good thing. That like they actually manifested God's goodness, because two complete strangers, two ladies, came out to the farm and got a chance to experience what an I.A.G family is like. So thank you to whoever sent those people out, to whoever called Child Protective Services. And like I said, I'm gonna be disabling all the comments. So future videos and even past videos, no more comments will be received on those videos. And so
In this moment, Tim felt like the light bulb had gone off, that he had found the solution to all of his problems of people making him look less than what he wants to look like. Not realizing that in this moment, he birthed everything that he despises now, which is the reaction channels. This moment birthed everything that has him up at night, late at night, early wee hours of the morning in people's comments with fake accounts responding. You never can run from the truth. Eventually it's going to catch up with you. Eventually. But he felt like he had outrun it. Oh, they gave me a reason now. I don't have to keep those comments on no more. I don't have to spend time going through the comments, each comment. And I get a lot of comments, so I can only imagine with the volume of viewers that they were getting, the amount of comments he had to weed through. And he was doing it though, And this light bulb moment right here for him, he's thinking, I don't have to do that no more. And he just made it 10 times worse for himself because for every channel, now he's going through each channel trying to defend himself. That's a lot.
Just wanted to let y'all know so y'all wouldn't be in the blind. Like I said, I probably you just post this same video on the ranch as well, the ranch channel. So if you're watching on the ranch channel, you know you understand why I'm posting this video on the ranch, even though I'm saying I.A.G Farms. But on both of our YouTube channels, both of our platforms, comments are going to be disabled starting tonight and starting on the next video, and you will no longer be able to comment. But feel free to reach out to us, like I say, in other areas if you have questions, have prayer requests and things like that. But just pray for that person or those people, because I know it was a lot of crazy comments. Like, it was a lot of just foolishness. You know, it's like, you can't call somebody and say they leave their child at home as if we're like getting in the car and going to the store or something and the child is by itself. It's like, if you have a little city lot and you walk from your house to your storage shed to get, you know, something, and then you come back in, like that, you know, don't expect for us to.
So he just described exactly what they were doing, which we know that's why you were reported. And he's making it seem like that's insignificant, when we all know that accidents for children can happen that fast. Really, accidents for anyone can happen that fast. I just turned my back for a second and blah, blah, blah. He's saying in a city lot, which I don't know why, because they're on acreage. City lot, if I walk here and do this, the child is fine. And that's not true. A baby can spit up in their sleep. I have the perfect story. My daughter was premature when I had her. She was almost 2.5 months early. So when we were finally able to take her home, her dad was feeding her. This is his first child. So when he fed her, she also needed her diaper changed. She went to the bathroom at the same time. So he's confused on what order to do stuff in. And unfortunately, he changed her diaper before he burped her. When he laid her down and lifted her legs to change her, she started spitting up. She spit up and it came out of her nose and her mouth, and she stopped breathing. Now he's right there with her, but his lack of parental knowledge, he didn't burp her first and she stopped breathing. So he knew CPR. He did get her breathing again, and we still called EMS and they came out and checked her. She was fine. You know, to this day, she's healthy, strong. She was a straight A student. Nothing happened in that particular incident that scarred her, but it could have. So can you imagine anything that could happen when they are not being attended to? In the blink of an eye, things can change, and he's making excuses. He's making excuses. Now he's actually saying what the actual report was. But he downplayed it to the point that you would almost miss it. Not leaving the child at home, but leaving the child unattended. That's serious. It's very serious, and especially at such a young age, anything can happen. I have had to sing at a couple of funerals in my past from babies with passing away with SIDS. The parents to this day don't know what happened, what caused that. But they're walking into their baby's rooms to the crib, and the baby is unresponsive. And there is no coming back from that. Anything could happen. And when you know that, you treat it as anything could happen. not as someone is crazy, somebody's a psychopath for knowing anything could happen and wanting to make you aware anything could happen. And the warning came before destruction, which was the comments. Plenty of warning in the comments. I'm sure there was a lot of mothers, there was a lot of grandmothers, there was a lot of great grandmothers in those comments letting them know, but they know better. So they ignored what everyone else had to say, and even now he's still in denial. He's explaining away the obvious, and then we also know to this day that they still do it.
Show you everything on camera. You know, we for privacy issues. Like I said, we're not gonna show you everything about our child. We're not gonna show you every little piece of our house. We're not gonna give you our address. We're not gonna give you our phone numbers and all that type of stuff. Like I said, because you're crazy. For real. Clearly, there's some crazy people out there. That's why somebody called Child Protective Services on us. But you just wasted your time. You wasted your time. They came, and like I say, we were laughing and joking, you know, as they left, because they realized how crazy it was. And like I said, they understood once we told them that we were slightly famous. Just a little bit famous, you know.
And that's him. That's him in a nutshell right there. We're slightly famous. So he's going to charge it to being slightly famous as opposed to concerned people. He wants to brag on himself real quick. Oh, you know, I'm a celebrity, so, you know, celebrities have to go through this type of stuff.
A couple million people each month, about 2 or 3 million people watch our videos each month. So we do have some haters out there, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, just want to let y'all know, comments.
The introduction of haters.
And I hate it, but like I said,
you're a hater that you cared about my child's health and well. I can't think of the word I'm trying to use right now, phrase I'm trying to use. But you're a hater because you care if my child is safe or not. Now, if I put myself in their situation, you would be aggravated to have to deal with CPS. But when CPS leaves, you have to hold yourself accountable. Dang, they were in the comments first. They did say something to me first. Not realizing it would get to this point because your ego just would not allow for you to believe that you are doing something wrong.
That's what has to be done. That's what has to be done to avoid foolishness like this. So y'all just stick around for the next
Isn't
videos.
it sad that he thinks that the comments
like
is why?
On this channel.
I'm going to go to the next one. Isn't it sad that he thinks that the comments is why that happened? What am I looking for? That's sad. So sad that that's what he thinks, is that it has to be the comments the reason why all of this happened. Nothing to do with my actions. Nothing to do with my wife's actions. It's just the comments and crazy people. They don't have nothing better to do. They hating on me. Hating on you, but concerned about your child. They don't even go in the same boat.
Fun work. I don't know if you guys seen that video yet, but we actually went and sat down with our cabinet designer, Mr. Mike, and designed Grandma's cabinets today. So that was fun. And
Grandma's kitchen.
That's right. And we're getting back home, and the kids are settled. Everything's calm around the table, and it's kind of feels kind of funny because I got to get used to not saying y'all let us know what y'all think down in the comments. But if you don't.
Okay, so I went straight into this video. I'm gonna set it up a little. So he just made the statement that this is the first video that they've done since the comments have been disabled, and it feels kind of funny. So this is directly after what we just watched. And that video was attached to Resurrection Ranch, but it was for both channels. And now he's made the first video since then to address it head on.
I don't know, someone called Child Protective Services on us, and they actually had Child Protective Services come out. But it ended up being a beautiful, beautiful thing because, you know, God takes all bad things and turns them to good. The Bible says that all things work out for the good of those who love God who are called according to his purpose. And so it just worked out for the good, and it's really encouraged us and kind of just giving us a new fire, a new mission. You know what I'm saying? And how does it feel to have Child Protective Services called on you? You know, as a mother, how does it feel? It's not a good.
Now, he asked her this question, but the theme of this entire video that I want you all to pay attention to is that he asked her, how does it feel as a mom to have CPS called on you? But he also will point out the fact that, well, with the wording, his wording, that CPS was called on her and not him. He makes it be a Megan thing. How do you feel about them being called on you? This is the first time that he says it, but he says it 2 or 3 more times that CPS was called on Megan and not them. Yet again, holding no responsibility, no parts in it. Treating her like she's a single married parent. At first he says called on them, but then that's the last time you hear that. From this point forward, it's all about them being called on Megan. What Megan's response would be to it, because we know that he's not active with Benjamin like that.
The feeling, except for the fact that we didn't have anything to worry about. Oh, like, yeah. I didn't have anything to hide. So when they came, I was like, you know what, just come on in. You know, like, sure, look in the refrigerator, look at my bathrooms, you know.
So CPS came out, and for anyone that knows, CPS has to do an investigation and make sure that everything is the way it should be. But for everything that they check off the list, literally none of it is addressing what the complaint was. And they are giving you a straight A report of everything outside of why they were called. So if you're watching for as entertainment, but not keeping in mind the whole situation, you're just like, oh yeah, okay, it wasn't nothing. But yes, it was, because they still never addressed out of their mouths what the people were called for, which was for you leaving a baby unattended. Nothing about homeschool, not about being fed, not about beating them. None of that came into question. It was you leaving your newborn child unattended while you're outside making videos. That was the claim. That was the complaint. But they're still making themselves look perfect, and like whoever made the report was out of their mind, but they still don't address what they were being held accountable for.
Here's my room, here's the kids' room. Absolutely nothing to hide. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. We know what type of family dynamic and what type of living situation so, like, we have. Ask me any question, like, it's, open door, open heart, because we didn't have anything to hide. But, ultimately, it's not a good feeling, because, the root of it, somebody sent them out here thinking that our children were into, whatever they were thinking. I don't even think that we're into whatever.
She still stopped herself from saying what the complaint was. From she almost said, she's like, whatever. Both of them just brushing it off. Like somebody out there is just crazy and out to get us. Because she's built up in her mind that she's such a good parent. Surely nobody could be thinking that she don't know what she's doing. And then I'm sure he's hyped her up even more to think that a hater calling people on you and you're a perfect mom. No parent is perfect. After the incident with my husband and our daughter, he had to brush up on some stuff real fast. Let me help you get understanding, because we won't have this happen again. Not even close to it. But he wasn't in denial either. Okay, I'm just gonna let this play on some
A
more.
psychopath or lunatic. Meg, she's trying to get me not to say it, but I said I'm gonna keep on saying it.
Well,
you're crazy.
The thing is, like, child protective services is a real thing
to
protect children that are actually in danger, being neglected, And so it's like our children aren't in danger; they aren't neglected at all. So it's not any, affront to us. It's like nothing. Nothing happened. But it's kind of like they have a job to do, and they were just basically falsely, wasting their time.
Somebody called in and just lied to them,
being messy.
What Megan is really saying is she would like to be locked in a dark room with that person. They call child protective services. Just leave me in there for 5 minutes.
No, because
good old dust. All you gonna hear?
No. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
That's right.
So she's having to correct the pastor in this moment because the thug in him is saying what he would like to do, but putting it on her. And she said right then, no. She's quoting the Bible. The missionary is quoting the Bible. The person who's dedicated her entire life is quoting the Bible. And she has to remind the hustler, no, I wouldn't do that, and that's not what I'm asking for. But it came from his mouth. So which one of them is feeling like that? Like they want to put hands on somebody?
Y'all know I'm just.
And he said it, not me.
Yeah. So seriously,
because people like that, they're cowards, and they called in anonymously and left an anonymous tip and just lied. That's cowardly, very, very cowardly. So a coward is not gonna, confront you or be that way.
We have prayed.
So the report was anonymous, and so they said it was a coward. But I'm sure that same coward left comments in your comment section. So you pretty much know who it is. You saw it. You ignored it. So were they a coward when they said it directly to you and you ignored it? Was that cowardice of them to put it in your comment section attached to their profile?
For, the person. And so it's just like the Lord is going to take care of it. And we're hoping that, the Lord uses this to minister to that person and to encourage and help that person.
Because surely we can't be wrong. Minister to them. We learned nothing in this situation. And we know that to be a fact because we're months later now and they still do it. So they learned nothing here. So the person that made the report needs to be ministered to. And there was no teachable moment in this for them. How far gone do you have to be to not ever be able to learn anything in any situation, to not hold yourselves accountable? I'm still learning different things. I'm open to suggestion. I'm never closed off to suggestion. Never have been. You may as well just wrap it up. Say you are God if you're that perfect. Which we know, sometimes one of them thinks that they are God. But that's pretty much where you're getting to when you don't feel like you can be taught anything and it's always somebody else.
And just in general, hoping that this situation becomes one that ministers to other people. It's ministered to us already, because even before Tim and I got married, we both wanted to adopt.
Yeah, the Lord really impressed.
How do these subjects relate to one another? She made that smooth transition and it still has nothing to do with the conversation. It was a teachable moment for them because they still want to adopt. What? What does that have to do with leaving your child unattended and CPS coming? What does it have to do with a person trying to hold you accountable for what they feel like was neglect? How does gaining access to more children have anything to do with CPS being there for your child being left unattended?
On us the spirit of adoption. And with all this going on, it's like we were like ready to adopt that evening. It's like bring the families on, like let's go, like let's build a bigger house, make an extension on Emma, let's buy another house so that we can have multiple bedrooms, and let's adopt, like spirit of adoption.
Children that are, you know.
Like the Bible says, the spirit cries out and says, Abba Father, you know, and that's what.
So all I'm getting from this is while CPS is there, that this is a conversation that they had with them about adopting. Oh, we're such good people. We're thinking about taking more kids in. There's no way we could be neglectful when we want to adopt kids. As I've never heard this conversation before about them adopting. This is a new one to me. So, because it's very random for them to just say this at this point in their conversation with us. Like, it's random. You went from being reported and why you reported to adopting.
We heard crying out as those child protective services people were leaving, because this is a serious thing. Children are actually being mistreated, like don't have food to eat, like don't have mothers and fathers, like don't have power and don't have beds.
Those are forms of mistreatment, but that's not it, because you can have both parents there and be mistreated. I've seen cases of both parents being there and the child not being fed. The refrigerator is locked up. There's videos that you can watch on here of kids, you know, being treated worse than an animal. Both parents in the house. I just watched one not too long ago of a wellness check being done, and when they went in that house, the parents had built a cage in the house for the child to be just in that section of the house and couldn't get out, but it was metal bars because he was autistic, and they, rather than get him help or deal with it, they just kept him locked up in that area of the house. When the police walked in, they were just amazed, and they tried not to be too obvious of what they were about to do to the parents, just like trying to gain an understanding, because it's like the longer you feel like I'm on your side and that I understand where you're coming from, the more information you're going to spill out. But they ended up being arrested and sentenced. So it's not just extreme things of single parent households or obvious abuse. It's also things that go undetected, and we know that. There's story after story of things going undetected until something drastic happens.
To sleep in, don't have clothes, and we were just like getting riled up, like ready to like adopt. And it's like that spirit that's crying out inside of us hasn't stopped yet. It's like it's like it's.
Have y'all heard them talk about adopting since this video? Has there been a segment in another video where they've mentioned adoption?
We're just praying to the Lord on what to do, how to move forward. But we definitely have always, like for the last 10 years or so, been talking about adoption and adopting, and it would be a beautiful thing if we can just help out some children, help out some brothers, sisters, one child somewhere, and whether that's foster parent or whether that's like actually adopting them into our family. So it's just who knows what's to come, but we know that the Lord uses these seemingly bad things to turn them around for our good, and not just for our good, but for the good of others as well. Yeah.
So true.
So don't get us too riled up, because we're caught.
We'll just adopt every child.
I know that y'all think that we're just regular like people, and I understand, like it's our lives look regular, but
we're very different now. But
anybody that has known us like for the last however many years, and has seen, like, you know, even some of our old videos and knows, like, that we come from the front lines. Like, I gave Megan a big speech. I said I not only was on the front lines, it's easy for somebody to say, oh, yeah, I want to be on the front lines of the mission field. It's like, talking. It's like, not only were we on the front lines, we slept on the front lines. We ate on the front. We lived on the front lines.
People on our porch, you know, like just the whole thing.
Yeah. So just talk about what a typical, like, day of ministry probably would look like for us back then.
Man, it's like, you know, sun up past sundown, miss meals.
We can all go back down through history and say, you know, things we've done in the past. And if any part of what they're about to say is true, then kudos to them. And it still has nothing to do with why CPS was called out there. It's so many distractions being thrown to just dance around the subject, and at no point do they actually address what actually happened. And you could get so caught up in listening to all these stories and what they want to do and what they used to do. But what about why you disabled the comments? Why not stick to that subject? And why not explain it in full detail? Because you can't. You know that whoever filed that complaint was within their rights to do that, and that is something that you were actually doing. And like I said, after this, for a little while, if Benjamin was out there on the hip, the camera's going to find him. If he's sitting out there too far away from them but still outside, the camera's going to find him. So I know the correction that they were giving because you could see it happening. But the same as repentance and backsliding, they backslid into their old habits, and now we see the old habits sometimes on videos, wondering where he is because the mind hasn't completely been renewed. They renewed it for a little while, but then they backslid. My pastor used to say all the time that you have to renew your mind as often as you comb your hair every day. It's an everyday walk to change that habit.
You know, go from one church, one prayer meeting on the street to the next, you know, to the farm even, because we're trying to do everything.
Leave one prayer walk, so we would leave multiple prayer walks in a day. Children would come to our door.
Yes.
And like, you know, we'll get them food and water, we'll get them clothing. And we'll get them a safe place to play it. So
but did you leave Benjamin unattended?
Man, it just stirs something up in you because it's part of our passion to help the orphans and the widows and children that are in need. So it just stirs a passion for, you know, that situation that happened inside of us. Like I said, it doesn't make us sad, it doesn't make us mad. It just stirs something up in us, like a passionate, like desire that's crying out, like I say, Abba Father, you know, to help those that are in need.
That's so true. So it's just, I was thinking something, but we started talking about something else. I was trying to go back to remember what I was thinking.
I don't know. It looks like my internet is buffering, which if I have to do a part 2 to this, I will. But I'm going to give it a minute to see if it's going to start acting right. I'm out here. We're kind of on the outer skirts of the town. So if the wind blows too hard in what direction, it messes with the signal of the internet. So, you know, it's peaceful out here, but there are little things you have to deal with being in the country. It looks like it's still going to keep doing it.
So yeah, so we have just done a lot and seen a lot, and our lives seem a lot more settled now, but then there's a lot we don't show you. That's what I was trying to say. So, you know, the videos...
Losing my cook.
Oh.
I got it.
Yeah. The videos may show us, like, building the barn is fun and it's light, and we're dodging wasps and it's background music. But it's, like, a lot of serious really hard work that goes into it. And even though the video is designed to feel like light and peaceful, because that's the ministry that
He guides her words. She can only say so much. He looked at her to make sure, don't you say the wrong thing. And I'm going to
the
replay
videos may
it.
show us like building the barn is fun and it's light and we're dodging wasps and it's background music. But it's like a lot of serious, really hard work that goes into it. And even though the video is designed to feel like light and peaceful, because that's the ministry that God has given us through YouTube, but it's like a lot of devotion and a lot of hard work that goes into it. It like Tim like has to like meditate and go into a space where he can like hear from the Holy Spirit before he even starts the video, because it's
So he's calling all that rest meditation. Telling her that while you working around the clock, I have to meditate to make sure that these videos are what we want them, or what I want them to be. I got to get the vision. I got to get the download. So let me meditate before I record our daily lives. Like, aren't they just supposed to be showing them on the farm? What special angle do we need of that? Like, if you're giving people the real, you just record your day to day, right? Am I wrong? I don't understand what the download needs to be for before he goes and records.
like so many of you have emailed saying that you have problems with anxiety and depression, and the videos are ministering to you and giving you peace. It's like Tim literally will sit for hours driving away demons of anxiety in order to start the video. So it's like when he starts the video and you feel ministered to and you feel peaceful, it's not because the barn build is easy. It's because he spent hours meditating before he films, and then while even editing the video, to drive out demons of anxiety and hopelessness and depression and replace them with peace and joy and hope. You know, it's a spiritual thing when you watch the videos. It's not like, need to work harder on the farm or make farm chores look easy. It's a spiritual thing. Yeah, it really, really is.
Our YouTube is a ministry,
No, it's stop and start. That's what it is. Let me record this, and I'm not going to record that. It's start and stop. That's literally all it is. We've seen it on the outtakes that you have that you forget to take out. And anybody that records anything knows how to make something look easy. If I put up one of my hair videos, it's going to be how it started and how it ended. But there was a whole process in the middle of that is not accounted for. But it could take 2 hours. It could have taken 8 hours, depending on what the type of service was I was doing. It's just start and stop. That's what makes it look easy. God is in everything we do, but we can all over spiritualize everything. And yet again, each subject that they bring up has nothing to do with why CPS was called out there and why they no longer have the comments up. But they're still talking about, this is probably the fourth subject that they brought up that has nothing to do with what they said they were going to be addressing. They teeter-tottered up to the subject and then backed away from it. And you have to remember what they were supposed to be doing to stay on subject of, well, when are you going to get back to it? Because they're talking about everything but Tim and his videos and meditation and finding peace. And okay, what about Benjamin? What about CPS? Like, when do we get back to that subject?
I know a lot of people understand that, like, we're missionaries. We're not just, just walking around twiddling our thumbs, like just flying by the seat of our pants. Right, it's like everything that we're doing is on assignment from the Lord. Yep. And that's how it's been, whether we were stomping up and down the streets of a mission field with gunshots blazing behind us, or whether we're taking a peaceful, calm walk down our driveway. It's like it's all a mission, it's all assignment, and we do it passionately.
Right, and it takes an extreme amount of focus. And devotion, and then a lot of that doesn't get filmed. You feel it, but it doesn't get filmed on camera. So yeah, just so y'all know and understand, what our heart is and where we're coming from, and that this is truly a spiritual thing. Even disabling the comments, it was definitely like led by the Lord. It was a spiritual thing. It's something the Lord led us to do.
The Lord is Tim, because that was a Tim thing. God didn't tell you to disable those comments, because surely God would have let you know. If you do, here come the reaction channels. Like, Tim disabled those comments because Tim felt some type of way about CPS being called, and he already said that in the first video we watched. He said it. He said it, that it's the crazy person's fault. It's their fault. This has nothing to do with God. It's like he's trying to make, like, a parent, like the child getting in trouble with a parent. He's like, you on punishment for doing something bad. So he's trying to make his community pay for what he felt like one person did, even though there was multiple people in agreement about what was happening. But it's not God led.
And one thing
It's
that
Tim
I've
led.
learned since marrying Tim just in this season is like things are seasonal. They don't last forever.
We know y'all have some real quick seasons, and she couldn't have worded that any more perfectly. Like, their seasons be like just with the wind, in and out like the wind. That's their seasons. Boy, the wind is changing up. Here come a new season. Here come a new season.
That's huge. Like, that's the way God works. He operates in seasons.
They've had multiple seasons just in this video. There's so many different conversations going on, and nothing has to do with what they said they were going to be addressing.
So it was a season of comics, and there was a community in the comments, and now that season has passed. And so I just encourage y'all, of course you can reach out to us through email, but if it's something you want
to share. Psychos, stay home. Stay home.
But God is leading this, right?
Don't mess with me.
Yes, don't bring that to the email.
Come on in this dark room, lock the door.
But
he keeps saying it. There's truth in jokes, and he keeps saying it. He is so burnt up, like he is heated about what has happened, and he wants to tear somebody up so bad, and he don't even know who to lash out to because it was anonymous. And you disabled the comments. I don't know if the person that owns the channel can still see comments when they disable them, or if they just completely disappear from everything. But he's getting what he asked for, right?
The point is, we haven't just closed our door to hearing from y'all out there. But at the same time, if you are desiring community, with other believers, I encourage you, or just community, I encourage you to pray and to step out your front door and just start walking and ask the Lord to send you where He will, and you will find somebody to minister to or to be ministered.
Might have ministered to you.
Exactly. So that's my encouragement to you, is that season has passed with the comments, but
can Megan and Tim be ministered to? Do they talk about people who have fed them spiritually? I know he talked about the church that they belong to, where he was ordained, but he left that church to start his own thing, feeling like he already had what it took. Like, do they ever talk about a spiritual leader, a spiritual guider? Like, she just said that, but honestly, are they open to outside wisdom?
The Lord has something for you, so push forward chores that don't just be like, oh, no comments, I can't like share with anybody, or this video encouraged me, but there's nothing to do with it anymore. Like, take that forward, let that spill over to somebody in your life.
That's right. Yeah, it's like I said, this has been a beautiful thing, like, because it's just opened us up, like, to the Lord speaking some old visions that He spoke in the past, and just rejuvenating those things. And like I said, I don't know where it's gonna go from here as far as that spirit that's crying out saying adopt, because we know the hardships of some families, like we've been the ones that have been helping those families, through our life of ministry. And we've seen kids in very, very bad situations, and we know that that's not nothing to play with. And we just hate that somebody is so immature that they thought it was something to play with.
Right.
Like, because I don't know what the goal was. It's like,
To keep your child in your eyesight. That was the goal. To not leave him where something could happen in the blink of an eye and you regret it. That was the goal. And they said it to you before they said it to somebody else.
The goal for that person that sent Child Protective Services, for them to take our kids, like, because what's the goal? What was the goal?
And it wasn't to take your child. Somebody has to step in. Somebody has to intercede and be like, this is the point right here where you need some help. You need some guidance. The very same guidance that y'all were just talking about, but you're clearly not open to it. But this is your moment. This is where you're getting it wrong. And we're here. We can help you with that. Not to take your children, but to make sure that they grow up healthy.
But I don't think that a psychopath, lunatic, crazy person
not
had a goal.
irrational.
They were just probably trying to do something to hurt us. It's probably somebody, that it may be mentally unstable, or they may have all their senses, So we love them as well. Like I said, Megan said we're praying for them. I say Megan want to be locked in the dark room with them so she can lump them up.
Yes.
Megan. Megan said we're praying for him. I say Megan wants to be locked in a dark room. No, you do. You want to beat somebody up so bad. Those anger issues, they still there. And it's like being masked behind that laugh. But he keeps saying it out of his mouth. He's not saying anything that he don't mean. He means it. Every time he does that, he's meant it from the first statement up to this one, that he wants to physically put hands on somebody about that phone call. Because there's no way that I said I'm a preacher, I'm a man of God, and you think that I'm out here doing something wrong to my children.
Oh, don't worry, we got your back. Yeah. Like, you better let her beat you up. Don't you hear her back?
He's kidding.
He's not kidding.
Yeah. Right here.
You see? He's not.
We do have some big old farm fields.
No, but it's a beautiful thing because the Lord really spoke to us to get settled. I think in our past season of life, it was like, go. And it was always kind of in the back of our minds. But, now we're getting to a place of really being established and being settled, and the Lord is bringing those things back up again.
Then you can switch. You do the camera. My arm is dead.
Let's see. I'm going to have to do the other hand, but I got to switch my teeth.
Oh, yeah, it's good. We're raw with this one here.
There you go. Yeah, uncut.
We get to be raw and
raw with this one here. That's what I'm saying. Like, they do a lot of cut and edits, which, we know. So that's how everything looks so seamless and smooth. That's not a download from God. A download from God would be you going about your day to day and just making life look easy. The struggle is real, but we just make it look easy. Not edits. That's what edit is there for, to make everything just look seamless.
have somebody call Child Protective Service.
There we go.
Talk about when the Child Protective Service people came. What type of emotions did you feel? I'm in interview mode now. Like, what type of emotions did you feel? What happened when they came up? Like, just talk me through that moment when the child protective service people were at the door. Hold on. I
I
gotta
gotta
turn this
take
around.
control
It's gonna be
again.
too good. Cause like I said, I'm in interviewers mode now. I want to get the people into that. Yeah, I'm trying to. I gotta pull it out. Cause like those people like that are wondering, how does Megan feel? Like what when the child protective people were at the door, cause y'all were getting ready to go to a doctor's appointment, and y'all were literally like loading up, headed out the door, and there was two ladies like that looked kind of scared because they were not used to being out here with dogs and sheep and pigs and all this open land.
Animals were over there.
So let's take us back.
CPS workers go to a lot of different environments. City life, country life, people living in their cars, people homeless living on the streets. If they can find you, CPS responds. There are workers that have to get up in the middle of the night and go respond to a call. So they're used to all types of environments. They didn't come out there nervous and scared and looking around like, oh, I don't know what to do out here. This is my first time of experiencing this. And I'm only pointing that out because the things that come out of his mouth that just make no sense. Why do you have to even make up anything right there? Why can't it just be what it is? The people were called out there, they showed up. Nobody needs an extra added in there that it's not true.
Back to that moment in time a couple of days ago when child protective services were called on you as a good mother, and like you having the heart to like help out kids that are in need, that those ladies are helping. So just talk us through that moment.
Well, first I was working with Benjamin because I was getting him.
I get it now that those women are helping. So by saying we want to adopt children, we've been missionaries is putting them on the same playing field as the CPS workers. So you can't come out here and have reign over us when we are equal. It's no way that he's going to allow for somebody to have one up on him. They're missionaries. They help children. We've had children coming up to I get it now. That statement right there just brought it all full circle. So CPS can't come out there and hold them accountable because we're like CPS too. We've been talking about adopting kids. We've been helping kids our whole life. We've been giving kids food, giving them clothes, ministering to them. Our whole life has been about kids. There's no way we can be out here mistreating ours when we helping other people's.
And ready to go. Everybody's ready but Benjamin. So we're getting him ready, and we're getting ready to head out the door. And so all of a sudden, Tim was like, "Is somebody here?"
Tim Jr.
Tim Jr. was like, "Is somebody here?" And so we're like, I was like, "Who is it?" Because it's either the mail lady or one of our neighbors, right?
Because we on a compound. Ain't nobody allowed on this property. Like, who could that be? Usually the gates are locked. How they get in?
Well, it wasn't. So I came to the door, had Benjamin in my arms, and the lady looked kind of like scared. She was like looking around like, am I in the right place? Like, where am I? Because you have to come down, a long driveway. We got farm animals, dogs, we're like straight up in the country. And so I held the door open and was talking to her for a while. And finally I was like, would you like to come in? Like, or, I'll just step out and talk to you. Like, because, we were just kind of in the door. And then, finally I realized who she was. And she was telling me, asking for us by name. And, basically saying that there was a report that we were leaving our infant child alone. And, yeah.
Okay. So she just said it. So everything that Tim said before then about leaving the child at the house by themselves, who's telling the truth? Because if you were in the comment section, you know what was said. And if you listen to his last video, you know what was said. But he's been saying the opposite up until just now, where she says it again, being left alone, unattended, not at the house by themselves.
So after we kind of went through that and I figured out why they were there, I just invited them both in. I was like, please just come in. And I just showed them around, answered every question they could possibly want to ask me. Called him, let him know what's going on. He talked to them. We explained that, he explained we're on YouTube and all that. But yeah, so basically it was at first, trying to figure out who they are. It's my heart just kind of sunk, like something in the pit of my stomach just kind of like sunk. It was just like this disappointment, and because once they said, reports of your infant child being left alone, I was like, yeah, subscriber.
And how does she know that? Like, it really wasn't a guessing game at that point because you've been saying you saw it in the comments. So it's baffling how you can be acting surprised or in the dark when people have been saying it to you. People were asking questions, concerned, and you still don't see your part in it. It didn't even have to get to this point. You could have answered that person. You could have handled that one-on-one with that person if they were that concerned. Or you could even just right here be more open and honest about, I knew it had gotten to this point because we left them unanswered.
YouTube, because we had been getting comments, and so I knew where it was coming from, and so it's just kind of my heart just like broke a little bit, just kind of sunk. But then when I recognized, okay, while they're here, I'm like, come on in. And so once they were in, they were like, okay, well, we're just going to do everything we need to do because, clearly everything looks to be in order here. So they did like a full, whatever they do, investigation or a report.
So what all did they do when they like came in? I know you mentioned them looking like you brought them to the refrigerator, you brought them to the homeschool room.
Yeah, so I brought them to the homeschool room, talked a little bit about what we do and the kids, but they wanted once they realized I was open, they said we could do the full report right now. They didn't even have to come back because, usually I guess they give you notice or time. But I was just like, whatever y'all want to see, y'all can see it. So they look at the child's rooms, where the children sleep. They look in your refrigerator. They look at your bathrooms. Like, basically, I brought them through every inch of the home. I was like, whatever you want to see, go ahead, you can see it. And they were like, this is immaculate.
And like usually we come in somebody's house, we gotta step over stuff.
Yeah, that is. So they're like, usually when we have to come in, we're stepping over toys, stepping over this and that. And they were just like, this is just immaculate.
Right.
Which yet again has nothing to do with why they were called out there. House can be spotless. You can have servants. Did you leave your child unattended? Was your entire family outside of these four walls except for the youngest one? Did you go to your barn to record and have the three oldest present but not the baby? Did you take a walk around the pond and not have the baby? Did you film the brand new vehicle and not have the baby? Like, whatever was happening outside, was your baby there for all of that? Or did you feel like he was safe in there by himself while the rest of the family was outside? That is the question at hand that has not been answered to this point. Not homeschool, refrigerator, deep freezer, homeschool room, crib. Did you leave him unattended? Lord, here we go with this again.
Basically, that was the word they used. This is immaculate.
And what would it, so immaculate was what went on our resume as future foster parents or adoptees. On our record, it says home is what?
Immaculate.
Immaculate.
Yeah.
So we should qualify for
like
helping out some babies in the future.
Yeah.
So what about the boys? What were the boys' reaction?
Well, once they were in the homeschool,
I know they were disappointed because I know Tim, because I remember Tim saying, why would these subscribers do that?
Figure out why they were even there. He was like, why would they send them to us? You know, he just couldn't figure it out. I think he was disappointed like I, was, but they were just excited to have a visitor because we look at visitor like a neighbor.
Somebody to minister to. Yeah, so that's what they.
No, not somebody to minister to, somebody to visit with. Those boys are like patients in a nursing home. Glad somebody came to stop by and they can talk to them. It's not my daddy. It's not my mom. Ooh. Is that somebody that we don't know? Is that somebody we can actually talk to? Oh my God. It's like a Christmas gift to them. They could talk to somebody. They had a visitor, an unexpected visitor on the compound. That was the joy for them. Not ministering. Those kids are not ministering to those adults. They're not. They don't have a download in them to give out to anybody. They weren't ministering. But those are the words that this channel will use to keep it all about God. And you're misleading people. Those kids didn't minister to those women. They barely communicate well. This is still the good phase right here. Good. And their sentence is not being formed complete. Like, no, they didn't minister to anybody, but they were happy to have a visitor out there.
Were, talking about their middle names are great kings because they had to give their names, and how they were telling testimonies of their middle names and how they got them, and just sharing about Jesus.
Your parents giving you your middle name is not a testimony. Where was the test in that? That's what I'm saying. Like they use church lingo and put it wherever they want it to be to make it sound spiritual. There's no testimony in their middle name. They didn't go through a test to get that name. That's not ministry. That's a conversation. That's it, a conversation about their middle name. And their knowledge is limited on what they can talk about. So there you have it. They're learning their names. We've beat it into them what their names mean. And so this is their limited conversation that they can have. Like, be honest.
With them and showing them their grades, showing them their homeschool papers. Tim's like, look, I got a 100% A+. And just talking to them about what they were learning in school. And so they were just bombarding them. Noah was like counting, spelling his name, telling him that he works on shapes and ABCs and what he works on in homeschool every day.
Yeah, he said they were pretty impressed when they came in the homeschool room. She was like, whoa, y'all really homeschool. Like, this is like a whole school.
And yet again, did you address leaving the baby in the house by himself? They should have asked you in the homeschool room when they see his crib in the corner, is this where you leave him while you're filming?
Ooh.
Yeah, she said, y'all ain't playing. Because they saw the chalkboard and the date and, everything was there. And they were like, okay, this is for real. And that's why we have a dedicated room, because we're not playing. We're serious about homeschooling.
We ain't playing.
And that's what the room represents. And they saw each boy's desk. And they saw Benjamin's area where he sleeps and where he also resides during homeschool when I'm not holding him. So they just thought everything was like great. They were like, wow, this is amazing. And, we're just going to...
Made it pretty far without too many of these. I'm probably going to fast forward just a little bit past this so that the video won't be as long because it's already over an hour. But it's just amazing to me how both of them have the gift of gab to the point that they could draw a conversation out this long and still not address what the real I don't want to say issue, but the catalyst, what started all of this. They have not stuck to that conversation. They'll get on it for a hot second and hop off of it like it's a hot potato. Like they're not really addressing what CPS was out there for and sticking to that conversation. And they have done a phenomenal job of oh, what would you call it? Distraction, distracting people from the real subject at hand.
A lot of questions and went through their whole thing. They were like, okay, it's nothing to.
I'm gonna get towards the end because this is just them. They just keep switching the subject. Like, no, that's not what we were supposed to be talking about. We're supposed to be talking about why CPS was called, why you all feel betrayed, why the comments were turned off.
Like a person and like a
I was
cloud
looking at something
over
outside.
them,
I'm
and it's
sorry.
like pressing them down, like a literal depression. Like I can physically see like a person in a black cloud just pushing them down, like hovering over them, almost like a wave, like they're underwater, and they try to stand up, and it like comes over them and knocks them down again. And so, Lord, I just pray in the name of Jesus, Lord, and all power and all authority who's in your hands. And you gave us that power to walk in. You gave us those keys. And I just take those keys right now in the name of Jesus and drive out every spirit of depression, anger, jealousy.
I was so distracted with what was going on outside of my window. I do not let just anybody pray for me or over me. I don't. Um, and I remember watching this earlier and going past this part because he said that they were just going to pray for everybody. So he did his first, and now he's allowing her to do that. And I don't need any spirit that's out there on the compound um, jumping off on me. I don't want it. So
We may have lived in sin. We invited them in. Lord, you gave us freedom. So as soon as we can call on your name,
Set free.
keep going the wrong way.
Get y'all sorry for that bad camera work at the end of Megan's prayer. But we love y'all, and we still gonna lump you up if we see you now. So get ready. Y'all know I'm just joking. Megan, I'm just joking with Megan. She gonna drag in the room.
pretty feisty, y'all.
Me and the boys gonna stand outside, and everybody gonna, we're gonna be in Walmart somewhere. Gonna drag you out in that room, and they be like, "What's going on in there?" Nothing. Just a mother and her vengeance. Right here. But nah, y'all just know I'm just joking. I'm just making light of it. That's my role. That's my duty.
Right.
To make light of it, to find joy in it, even when
It was so light he turned those comments off.
It was funny because after it all happened, and I was just talking to him, I was like, how many times are you going to say psycho today? But I was like, that's his way of dealing.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Everybody has their way of coping.
Crazy, I tell you.
Everybody has their way of coping with different situations.
Yeah.
And it was like psycho 100
It's like,
times.
I thought I was crazy. Until you meet these subscribers. Subscriber ain't got no business calling Child Protective Services on a good family like us.
So, yeah, the I don't even I don't know what words to get out first. Like, the Nile is not just a river with this whole situation right here, and I really don't even think they're in denial. It's just, how dare you? How dare you question my parenting? How dare you take it a step further? Even after I ignored you, you actually felt like that was going to be your best bet, was to go and call the people on me. Now you're just going to get the comments taken down, period. How about that? But now they can come to anybody's channel and leave a comment. And for all we know, one of the person that reported you could already have a channel. So how did that work out for you? You have to be able to take your lessons when they come to you. Or otherwise, you find yourself repeating history over and over and over again, being stuck in that same spot and can't figure out why. And the last way that you want to learn your lesson is through your children. And I don't understand how they could think it's okay to leave the baby unattended. So with having 3 older children, that's a habit. That's something that they've done, whether they were recording the stuff that they were doing or whatever, just day-to-day stuff before they started this channel. Kids were just being left unattended, and because nothing has happened, the person that had concern is crazy. Rather than just saying that you could see where something bad could happen, let's switch that up. That's a practice that we don't need to practice anymore. You would make a person feel like they're crazy. Like they're doing too much. But you're doing bare minimum when it comes to making sure that the baby is safe. The perfect shot is not worth a what if. So that was my reaction to these 2 videos. This was a turning point for them because it has led to the reaction community. Like I said, after this, shortly after this, we would see where he was purposely being put in the shots, the baby. And they slowly slid back to where they were when all this happened. So I guess you really can't teach an old dog new tricks. They're happy together. So, we just let them keep hyping each other up to do whatever it is out there, whatever madness is going on out there. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, my reaction to this. I had started a video, it may have been like my 3rd video, where I was talking about when they first pulled the kids out of school and I had run out of storage, and I asked at the end of that video if anyone would like to see a part 2, and I was asked to do a part 2, so that may be my next video. And then after a part 2 to that one, I'm going to go back to Resurrection Ranch. And then after that, I may come forward with some of the more recent things that have happened. But that is what I think I have mapped out for the next few videos, unless life throws me a curveball and I go in a different direction. But that's what I plan on doing. So with all of that being said, I again thank you all for taking out the time to come over here and watch the videos and to interact with me. I see how the channel is growing, and not just in numbers, but just the interaction that we all have with one another. And I love it. I appreciate it. For anyone that's coming from their subscriber list and feels like you're being attacked, I really don't know how to address that. I have said before, this is for like-minded people, so you probably won't find much joy over here. You're welcome to leave your comments. Just know that anyone that's over here has already formed their opinion, so you're not going to change it. But the numbers have been picking up, and I appreciate you all for that. So if you all want to be notified for my next few videos that are coming out, then go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that it will let you know when I've uploaded a new video. And with that being said, guys, this is it for this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.